So today, the Trump administration announced they're sending election monitors to 5 specific counties here in the state of California. They have no business doing that. They have no basis to do that. In fact, we have a statewide election for a statewide constitution. This is about voter intimidation. This is about voter suppression, period, full stop. And it's a pattern, isn't it? It's consistent with what they've done with the federalization of the National Guard and the intimidation and the chill that's created. They'll do that right around Election Day as well. Same thing with ICE and Border Patrol, masked men. Watch that space, showing up in and around polling booths and voting places. But this is a bridge too far. And I hope people understand it's a bridge that they're trying to build, the scaffolding for all across this country in next November's election. They do not believe in fair and free elections. Our republic, our democracy is on the line. We all need to wake up.
Did he pretty much just said the illegals are voting?
Why,
he kind of alluded to that.
Why is it election interference if they're just having monitors? That's not. How is that? Like what? What the hell are you even talking about?
Because the illegals are voting.
Okay, then. But it's like I don't understand why that someone monitoring the votes is election
fraud.
Like what? Like why is that interference? They're just monitoring.
And also, this is coming from a dude whose state they can't even show ID to vote because it's considered racist. But you got to show your ID to do anything else anywhere.
Apparently, black folks don't know how to get an ID or capable to get one.
It just doesn't make sense unless you're trying to cheat, which it looks like they are. I don't understand how showing an ID to vote in a country or a state election is racist. Everything is not racist, y'all. Come on.
Gavin Newsom, and very handsome Gavin Newsom, is ringing alarm bells about Trump's plan to send federal election monitors to California on Election Day. Let's watch this clip.
I really am scared to death about what's going on in this country. I really believe it is code red. It's 5 alarm fires. We won't have a country. We won't have an election that's fair and free if we don't stand up. We won't. There will not be a fair and free election. It will be a Putin election. Was it 87% or is it 87.3%? That's what Trump wants.
He's worried. He's worried. And are you as worried about it as he is? Or is he just going to make more Americans distrust the election process, like Trump has been doing since he lost in 2020?
I think more likely than fraud will be disincentivizing voting in a democracy, which is the currency of a democracy. But right now, in 2024, we had 65% of the population that showed up at the polls, which is actually pretty good for this country because in the midterms, which can right now be very important, only 47% of Americans show up at the polls. People fought hard for those rights to vote, and we already don't have people showing up at our polls. We don't need to plant seeds. You always go out, you always vote. Let the rest be determined as it plays out, because when fraud was claimed last time, not one judge in this country saw any proof of any fraud. So by planting these seeds, you're already taking a public that's lost trust in everything and saying your vote doesn't matter. That's the fastest way to affect an election.
I see it differently because I think sunlight is the best disinfectant. I think that you need to speak truth to power and you need to expose what may be going on. And, up to the election, Project 2025 was written, there was a game plan, and we kept on sounding the alarm. There's a game plan, there's a game plan. It's in writing, it's 90 pages. There's a Cliff Notes version. No one listened to that. You know what's happened since Trump was elected?
But it's crazy to hear the Democrats actually say there's voters fraud, but when Trump said it was voters fraud,
it was a problem.
So it's like,
and again, it's a reoccurring theme here. Why are we not wanting the election to be fair? Why do we not want it monitored? Why do we not want IDs to vote? Why do we not want crime to stop if the National Guard stops it? Why don't we want these things? Why do we want more crime? Why do we want more election fraud? Anything Trump does, it doesn't matter. Y'all are going against it, for sure.
Yeah, so they just find everything to complain about. Oh, they're monitoring the election? Oh, that's intimidation. It's voter intimidation.
That's awful.
Why are you intimidated? Why? It's like, oh, the hall monitors in the hallway? It's hallway intimidation. The fuck? This is dumb.
Reshaping the federal bureaucracy. reducing the size and influence and empowering the executive branch, aggressively militarizing an approach to immigration, the use of active duty military personnel and National Guardsmen to assist in border security, a return to a more isolationist foreign policy, dismantling the Department of Education. It goes on and on and on. Everything he promised he would do, he did. And so when Gavin Newsom is saying, I am concerned about this, I think we need to listen. That's the problem with this country. We don't want to say the quiet part out loud. We don't want to challenge authority. We don't want to challenge authoritarianism.
Is that the problem?
Silence, there's no place for silence when
Also,
the
can I-
democracy
Silence is
under
violence.
attack.
I just want to say one thing. I don't think Gavin Newsom would be saying this if Donald Trump hadn't thrown in the gauntlet in the first place. It's not like he's
Yes.
doing it
Right,
tit
but
for tat.
now it's
election
becoming in
monitors.
vogue for every candidate to say it's probably rigged.
Yeah, but who started this?
But that's
exactly
but it doesn't matter. You don't win a bad idea with a bad idea. The point is, the only power a regular American person has is to go to the polls.
Why
They
is-
can keep their eyes open and see problems and be alert and educated
Why
and
is Trump
vote at the
sending
same
in
time.
election monitors to California?
But
Why is
I'll
Trump sending
speak to
people
that, but
there?
I think it's
'Cause they don't
one
have
thing
IDs.
for pundits and
Illegals.
for spectators to say, I'm concerned that there will be free and fair elections again. I think it is wholly irresponsible for the governor of the most populous state, who, by the way, oversees elections in his own state. He oversees the cybersecurity infrastructure. He oversees the Secretary of State, down to poll watchers, to election workers. Gavin Newsom has a lot of power in
Why
this.
are
He
there
could at
federal
minimum-
monitors, though?
He could at minimum say, I can promise you California will have a free and fair election, and I'll work with every governor to make sure that there's no efforts to undermine them. But that's not what he's
How
doing.
does he do that
It's
when,
very-
when Donald Trump is
She come
sending
with
federal
points.
monitors?
She's
because
speaking
he's
facts.
the chief executive of the state. Monitors, we need to know what that means. I do think it's
Doesn't
an alarming
it sound
phrase.
like election intimidators?
But you also have a
That's what it
governor with
sounds
his
like.
own authorities in the state. And for him to
Illegals.
say this, it reminds me very much of the gerrymandering debate. So everyone is angry when Texas redraws congressional maps to add more Republican seats.
Yeah.
They're cheating. It's rigged. So California responds by cheating and rigging it by adding more
What are
Democratic
they supposed to
seats.
do? They're supposed to just let them do it?
No, you're supposed to safely secure your elections and tell your voters you can
No,
trust
for
voting in
gerrymandering.
California.
For gerrymandering.
Yeah, what do you do with
What are you
that?
supposed to do with that?
You should challenge it at the state level. Former Governor Schwarzenegger talked about this. There's a process to do it in California. There's a process in Texas. Change the laws so that people cannot do
You can't change the laws when the Republicans are in charge in Texas.
Can't say this. I fled communism. I fled authoritarianism.
Nobody
as you
give a
guys
fuck
know,
where you
when I
came
was a
from,
child.
bruh. Gosh, I
And
hate
the
this one.
things
She's
that
my
I'm
least
seeing
favorite.
happen in this country, I never thought I would see happen in this country. I never thought I would see an insurrection and people, a mob of rioters at the Capitol
Do you
trying to
hear-
Why
stop
don't you go back to where you
an
came
election
from then, if
result.
you're so scared?
So I think, from my personal experience, I look at this and I really feel we need to be vigilant, and we just need to see it's like every day it's something different. It's the tearing up of the East Wing. It's
Disappearing
election
people.
monitors.
Disappearing people.
Goodness gracious. You could
Disappearing
debunk
people.
every point they just made so easily. Alyssa is the only one who has
Some
any
logic.
type of,
she used to
logic
work.
at all or anything.
She's
you
to
know?
work in the government.
Okay, did they?
No.
Oh, that makes sense. And she's just like, look, why is it crazy that we want a free and fair election in the state? Oh, well, they're intimidating. How is that intimidating? You're only intimidating unless you're not
You hide
following
something.
the rules. If you're following the rules, you won't be intimidated.
Oh.
And then she sits here and says, oh, well, I fled from an authoritarianism, da-da-da-da-da.
Nobody give a damn where you came from.
Hold on,
bruh.
hold
She came
on,
from
though.
a third world country.
Okay, so why did you come here?
Exactly.
If it's so bad, why is no one else fleeing? Who has fled? Who has fled America?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Okay, and she's an elite. Nobody flees America. People flee to America. So if it's so bad here, why do we have a problem with people trying to come in illegally? No one is illegally trying to go into Venezuela. I've never heard of that in my life. I've never heard of anyone trying to go into Mexico illegally. Have y'all?
No.
No, why not? Because it's whack.
I haven't even heard anybody try to escape and try to go to Canada.
You don't hear about that. You know why? Because it's whack. You're in the best country. Y'all all know it. All y'all are rich. Your husband is under a RICO. My least favorite is Sunny. I ain't gonna lie. I don't like her. I don't like her.
I don't like her either.
But the thing is, it's just like, okay, so if this is authoritarianism, that's what you're saying this is because he wants to make sure an election is fair. How does that make sense?
Well,
making sure an election is fair, that's not okay.
They just don't
in
want
America?
illegals to vote. That's pretty much what he's trying to stop.
In any country would want that. I truly don't understand. It's like the same thing. Why are you mad about the National Guard going and stopping crime? Who did they harm? They harmed no one. People were happy. So why are you upset about stopping crime? Why are you upset about having a free and fair election? Because Trump did it.
They don't think it's fair because illegals don't get to vote.
But
And they
that
believe
proved
that
wrong.
they believe that illegals should be able to vote
They
in
must.
our election.
But if you polled America, what would they say?
Hell,
We know what they would say.
He always talks about how high his poll numbers are and how he's got the best poll numbers of anybody. If his poll numbers are so good and if he feels so confident about his approval rating in this country, why then does he find it, and he and Republicans find it necessary to change the congressional maps to give them more sure
question.
wins for Republicans?
Right.
Because they think they're going to lose
Yes, it just-
in the midterm.
Lose?
And if
They
they
think they're
lose,
going to
that
lose?
means that for the first time in this term, there will be pushback, there will be oversight, and there will be reining in of his authoritarian
And some people will be
tendencies.
going to jail.
Correct.
Like your husband. It looks like we have
Some admission of cheating.
a guy who knows what he's doing,
It's like a sheriff there.
a sheriff saying that California admits people know that there are illegals voting.
That's common sense. That's why
Which-
Trump sending people to spectate.
Make sure that doesn't happen.
And that's wrong, apparently.
I guess so. Let's hear the sheriff.
The way the voting system is structured, we see quite a few flaws. You're able to register even if, and cast a vote if you don't live in the country, as evident of his brother in Pakistan. And I think we have some evidence of 2 or 3 other people out of the country that voted. Is that correct?
Yeah, approximately.
Not even in the country.
Out of the country, as well as people residing outside of the district.
The online voter registration system, it seems to be an honor system. Anybody can put information in there to register to vote. All you have to do is click a box and say that you're not lying, and then you'll get an email from the Secretary of State or something in the mail saying, thank you for registering to vote. And there you are. Once you're on the voter rolls, anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get mailed a ballot, right? You get mailed something to vote. So we found that a little bit problematic.
Found that a little bit problematic.
They said, dude voting in Pakistan and 3 other people out of the country and out of the district. All right, I've heard enough.
And
Is
it's
Trump
wrong to
wrong?
stop that.
Oh.
Let's keep it real, guys. Just for 1 second. 1 second. Can we keep it real?
They don't want to keep it real, bro.
And you know, what states did Trump not win?
Illinois.
The states with these laws.
Yeah. Take state with no voter ID.
Is that a coincidence? Could it be possible that at least one of these states had illegals vote?
They did, bro.
No, I know. But not even if you, imagine I'm talking to a Democrat. Could it be possible, with what we just heard from the sheriff, could it be possible the illegals voted, yes or no? Ask yourself that question.
Anything that threatens their corruption and ability to cheat, they're going to try to justify it. They're going to try to fearmonger and flip. But hey, if California, like Alyssa said, if California was a safe place with free and fair elections, this wouldn't intimidate you. You'd be like, all right, bring it on. Bring it on. I have nothing to hide. But you have something to hide. So you have to demonize law and order. You have to demonize your ability to cheat being threatened. We know what's going on. We knew this was at play. Now they're election deniers. Now they think the election is at threat for them. Okay, we see the writing on the wall.